Hello everybody, Excited Utterance here. My name's Hella, and here in Australia it is already V-Day, Valentine's Day. Yep, we are in the future over in Aussie land, but hello to everybody who is back a day before on the 13th of February. So it'd be Tuesday the 13th, and well, we have a little bit of solemn subject matter, though, because we're going to be covering the Stephen Smith case, an unsolved mystery. And what I need to say, preface that with, it is not a Murdaugh mystery, not a Murdaugh mystery, or some people pronounce it Murdaugh mystery. And so I'd like to say hello to some people today. So we have Tilly in the house. What it do, my distinguished and beloved degenerates? Hello, Tilly. We have Stray. Hey, Stray, good to see you. And Flash Fan is here. Hey, Flash Fan 85. Christine, it's always wonderful to see you. Always wonderful to see you. And Tragic, you were a day early. I think that might have been because you're an Aussie. We're always early to these things. Okay, so Stray is also talking about the fact that we have Hearsay for Days live on Sunday, but I have a bit of a good news for you today, and that is I'm going to show you a little bit of Hearsay for Days today. For those who don't know what Hearsay for Days is, that's when I get out the tea, pour the tea that's happening on the social medias. And the reason I'm going to do that is because there's things going around on the social medias loosely about the Stephen Smith case, but about a lawsuit that's going down at the moment, aimed at Mr. Wilfolk from Fitz News in South Carolina. Now, here I am all the way on the other side of the world in Australia. And how do I know about all this, and why do I care about all this? Because this has been going on forever. The Stephen Smith case, the drama in South Carolina, and why do I know about it? Because it's tied to this Murdaugh thing. Now, I'm going to bring in my co-host. So let me go out of solo mode. Hello, Mr. Dali.
Hi.
Dali. There he is there. Hi. Hello, Aussie True Crime. Hello, Aussie True Crime. Good to have you here. Nice to have you here. Hello.
Good Lord, you're outnumbering me.
We have a lot of Aussies that watch.
I know.
A lot of Aussies, yeah.
Hi,
now,
Christine. How are you?
Yes, Christine's here. And we have Nikki. Good evening, EU, and good evening, Chad. Who's Chad?
Thank you. I'm Chad.
Cool. Yes, so I have a little ticker along the bottom. So what happens is, and I don't know if there's anyone watching on Twitter just yet, or sometimes I get tons of people watching on Twitter.
Actually, you do have a few.
Do I? Yeah. Well, yeah. It happens. And I just want to encourage people, if you're watching on Twitter, it really helps the channel and it helps the discussion if you pop over onto YouTube, right? So the link is there. Hello, John. The link is there on the description on the tweet. It's just a little short link. Please, even if you don't feel like chatting, just come over onto YouTube, even just get a tab open. It really helps, okay? So I really, really big time appreciate it if you do that. But we'd really like to hear from you. If you want to come over and put your thoughts into the chat and join the discussion, I don't know everything about this. I'm all the way over here in Australia, right? I'm researching this. And I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts. I really, really would like to hear everyone's thoughts. Hello, Becca Lynn. How's it going? Good to see you. So good to see you. Hello, who's this? Mary Assad Voltas. Continuing, the evidence is that Stephen Smith self-deleted by intentionally walking into oncoming traffic because he was failing his nursing classes and relationships. To be continued. Ooh, okay. So this is what I like, people coming in and adding things to the discussion. Fantastic, and welcome. Welcome. I meant to chat. My fingers are fat. She's in the land where toilets flush backwards. They do not. They flush forwards.
And upside down.
Yours
so
do.
It's a bidet.
And hello, Salty Dog. How's Hella, the dog? Puppy dog. Salty Dog has a puppy dog loosely named after me. Or maybe I'm not named after the puppy dog. I don't know.
Or maybe you were named after her.
I
hope it's not a female dog. Or I guess it is.
Hey, I'm sure it is.
I won't make
I ain't going over to YouTube. Nope, aren't going to do it. You are already here, Tilly. You're already here, Tilly. Right. Okay, let's get to it. Also, please like and subscribe to Mr. Dali. He's fantastic. He's my co-host, and I would not be without him. Now, let's get into it. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to do a really brief recap of the Stephen Smith case. Now, some of you will know what the deal is with this, so I'm going to do it briefly. I'm just going to do a brief timeline of the top level points of how I see this has unfolded and why we even know about this, guys. Right now, I'm not going to try and make out like it's not an important case and we shouldn't know about it, but there are a lot of unalivings, right? And here I am all the way on the other side of the world, and I know about this. Why do I know about this? Right? It's because, let me just guess, it's because that name, MURDAUGH, is tied to it, don't you think? Don't you think? Right? So I think if that name weren't tied to it, probably little me over here wouldn't know about it, wouldn't be talking about it. Right. So yet there's no evidence, zero, that any Murdaugh has ever had anything to do with this. Ever.
Maybe it was Alec.
No,
Alec did it.
Alec did not. Right? He didn't. All right. So anyway, let's move on. So I have a presentation, as I generally do, because that's what I do. Yeah, I can't help myself. I try and tone things down and not do all the presentations and things, but I just can't stop it. All right, so let's get into it, shall we? Now, a lot of you might remember, because this was the first time I heard about the Stephen Smith case. This was when Mr. Alex Murdaugh was taken out in handcuffs. Actually, I think it was the next day. So he had been pronounced guilty. Remember, Miss Becky had done the whole reading out of the jurors. The jurors said he was guilty. Yeah. And then the next day, because it was really quick.
She wrote a book.
Yeah. The next day, he was brought out for his sentencing. And Judge Newman gave him the big, the monster you've become. Right? And then this happened. Oh, hang on, just make sure that I've got my sound up as loud as it can go. All right, sweet. Let's see. Remember this?
Buster is next. Justice for Stephen Smith, Alex. Buster is next. Your son is next, Alex.
Remember this?
Why does he get a whole van to himself?
Yeah.
Are you fucking... Oh, I don't remember this part, but okay.
You don't remember that?
No, I remember your son is next to Alex, but not to Buster himself.
Anyway, so that happened. So I remember really clearly that happened, and that being like thrown all over the networks, and like, what's all that about? What's all that about? Why is Buster next? Right? And so that was all about this rumor that had been going around for years, apparently, in the South Carolina community. Well, why are they saying his nose next? Yes. Okay. So, Tilly, good question. If you
Yes.
hadn't been following it, and this is why I'm going to go back to the start
Yeah.
really briefly and just give you an overview as to why this guy, this Big Red here, other son of Big Red and other Big Red
Yeah.
Buster, who
On
is
the right.
absolutely a victim in this situation. He's just lost his mum and his brother, and his dad's just been taken off to prison for the rest of his life. He is walking out there, and people are heckling his dad, saying, "Buster, you're next," right?
It's
So
one thing to say to Murdaugh if his son isn't around and it's really still crappy, but to say, like,
yeah, it was a horrible moment. I couldn't help feeling just crap for him at the time, but a lot of people really they hated that
they
family.
love to tear the family down. They want to see them ruined.
Yeah. So you followed the trial, but not the extra stuff. Well, pull up a seat, Tilly. Pull up a seat.
Yeah, there's so much.
Pull up a seat. Okay. So for many, this was the first time we heard the name Stephen Smith around then, right? That was the first time I started to hear it. So I was like, what's going on? What are they talking about? Okay. So then, so who's Stephen Smith? All right. So he's this teenage guy, and I believe he was an adult by then when the unaliving happened. And he's a gay guy, and he was in the same class, I believe, as Buster and his mates, right?
Yeah, they were like friends, I think, or
I don't think they were really like mates.
Or
like,
no, were they?
They were just in the same class.
Okay.
Like there was, I don't think that they hung out or anything like that. But and people get in chat. Again, if you're on Twitter and you're watching this, get over here in chat because I can't see you. Right? I don't know why. Like some people have StreamYard set up so they can see Twitter comments, but I can't see any. If you are commenting, but if you know more, please come tell me. But I believe that they weren't like. The reason I believe that is because Buster has since come out and done an interview on this and gone that he hasn't had any friendship relationship. Yes, Maria. What are you saying here? Hi, Maria. Continuing, the falsehood of Paul killing Stephen Smith was brought up again as soon as the boat crash happened. Yes, there was a boat crash. That's a separate thing. A Janine woman called Mandy Bunny.
Your mic goes like. Is anybody else noticing her mic is getting weird? It's just like every couple minutes, like 2-3 seconds.
I can bring it closer to me.
Okay.
Mandy Batney and connected her to an Olivia Boyles to be continued. Okay. Yeah, there have also been rumors that Paul was involved in this. And yes, separately, there was a boat crash. I won't go much into the boat crash today because that's a whole separate storyline. But thank you, Maria, and I will try and connect your comments as we go along. Cool. Stop it, Tilly. You're not on there. And hello, Justil. Stealing is one thing. Murder is next level. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
And then there's doing that to your wife and son with zero motive. I mean, okay, you were embarrassed. Well, then why didn't you do Buster as well? You don't leave family around if you're embarrassed by something.
Okay. All right. So anyway, back to Stephen Smith. So he was a classmate, and he was gay. Two things. Fine. All right. But in other words, not connected with Buster or the Murdaughs in any other way that we know of. So why has his death made global headlines? So his story made 48 hours. Like there was a documentary on 48 hours. his death was investigated as a homicide. It was brought back up. His mother was absolutely convinced that it wasn't an accident, and she's been like, good for her. She has not taken the initial autopsy, and I'll go into this in a minute, as being for real. She's come along and gone, this is not right, guys. Something's wrong here. And she's really, really pushed over the years to try and find out the real story behind what happened to her son. So that's fine. Good for Sandy Smith. She thinks something fishy happened with her son's death. And fair enough, she deserves justice. She deserves to find out what really happened. And that's okay. So, but why has it actually become global headlines? I question that. Now, how could there have been so many wrong turns in this case? Now, that's the actual road that he was found on. And thanks for the footage, Crime and Cask. Crime and Cask is, he's a wonderful commentator and author. And I'm hoping that when he feels a bit better, he will come onto this channel and actually give us his thoughts. Not on just on this, but also on his theories regarding Alex Murdaugh. He's not feeling so well right now. He's had some surgery. But hi there, Crime and Cask. He has a book called Defending Alex Murdaugh, Guilty Beyond Reasonable Doubt, I believe. So I'm going to put a link to him in the description. Now, let's keep going. He'll come up again later, actually, Mr. Crime and Cask. Okay, so this case deserves a brief recap. So rewind to July 8, 2015. This is when this all started, right? So, yes, Maria, let's see. In MM's book, Blood on Their Hands, Janine insisted to Mandy that Paul had gotten away with murdering Stephen, and now Paul murdered Mallory Beach too. See, this is what bothers me, right? See, these accusations, or allegations, right? I should say allegations. Blood on their hands. Paul had gotten away with murdering Stephen, and now Paul murdered Mallory Beach too. And I don't know the book, Maria, and thank you for that. When was that published? I'd like to know. Like, I suppose it would be after Paul's death. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I don't follow this author. Yeah. Okay. So the case deserves a brief recap. And hi, Ronnie. Good to see you, Ronnie. Nice to see you, love. It's really great to have you over here in chat. Okay, so brief recap. So we're just going to mosey on through this and give you the top level points. So a deceased male was found by a local man on a roadway near Moselle, Hampton County, South Carolina at 3:59 a.m. July 8th, 2015. That is the spot right there. The male was identified as teenager Stephen Smith. At his resting place on that road, blood was pooling around his head. Highway patrol agents noted no debris, skid marks, or injuries usually associated with a vehicle accident. At the time, they noted it may have been a gunshot wound. It was such a big blow to the head that at first they thought it could have been a gunshot wound, right? But it didn't look like a normal vehicle accident, like bones broken or anything like that. He had his shoes on, right? Now, that's important because usually when someone's struck by a car or something like that at high speed, shoes fly off, apparently. Right? I didn't know that, but apparently that's the thing. Shoes fly off. Okay. So, yeah, that's the thing. He didn't have like all bones all broken and things, like it was just this boom to the head, supposedly. So it just was a bit strange. Also, he was just lying flat there, like in the middle of the road. So it was kind of odd. So there he is with his mum, Sandy. Stephen's autopsy revealed no evidence of a gunshot, though, and instead ruled the death to be the result of a blunt head trauma sustained in a motor vehicle crash in which the decedent was a pedestrian struck by a vehicle. Okay. His mother, Sandy, was convinced this did not make sense. Her son would not simply wander out on a road at night. She was determined to continue searching for answers. So the autopsy said he was struck by a vehicle, yet apparently there wasn't all the normal signs of a vehicle, and there was no road debris, right? So there was no like glass or
Taillights.
stuff out there. And oh God, sorry, someone's digging something up outside. I might just change to my other microphone.
You're okay. I can barely hear it.
Oh, you really can't?
I can.
Oh, it's gone.
Stop.
Yeah, someone's digging a hole outside. Dave dug a hole, and
Try to
that's
dig to China.
that's a
Is that a thing
Australian
there?
reference. Aussies will know that reference. Oh. Dave dug a hole. Okay. Anyway, move on. This microphone's actually quite good at isolating sound from outside. It's quite good. All right. Anyway, then the tea started pouring. Less than 2 weeks later, July 17. So remember, it was, hang on, July 8th when it happened. And then July 17, right? Not long. Yeah? July 8th, July 17. Do the math. Not long. Highway Patrol noted a rumor circulating of Alex Murdaugh's oldest son, Buster. The story via word of mouth, and don't underestimate it in South Carolina, was that Buster, a former classmate of Stephen, could have been out with friends that night. Further, the rumor went that Buster and co. saw Smith on the side of the road, hit him with a blunt object, and staged the hit and run. All because of more rumors of an alleged gay relationship between Buster and Stephen in high school. What?
Of course they try to make him gay. It's just it's so tawdry. I mean, not tawdry and like it's a bad thing. I don't care if they actually are gay. It's just they try to smear them, this rich, white, powerful family, and find allegations, and it just seems like it's a fake. It's less believable saying something like that.
Yeah, of course. It is tawdry, and it's and it's gonna grab people's attention.
Yeah.
And
I don't care if he's gay. He can be gay.
Of
but
course.
It's just,
It's more like the rumor mill is more likely to swirl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's more.
It makes more sense that people are going to talk about it if Buster was in a gay relationship.
Secret gay relationship.
Of course.
It's not just a gay. No, if he was gay, it wouldn't matter. But it's a secret gay one.
It's secret. Yeah, exactly. And of course, but he wouldn't want anyone to know about it. So therefore, they went and did this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, and thank you, Marie. Sorry. Continued and answering a question. MM was then working for a newspaper, the Island Packet. Then she went to Fitz News. Yeah, I knew she was working for a newspaper, then Fitz News. Her book came out in November 2023. I haven't finished it. Right. So long after Paul was no longer with us. So, I mean, making allegations after someone has passed is my point.
Yeah.
Okay. And I saw some other people in chat here. Who have we got? Hey, Daniel D. Good to see you. And John's here. I saw Mystery Sniper. Always good to see you. Always good to see you. Alrighty, moving on. Okay, so you're starting to see why, like, he's becoming like a bigger deal, like as a story that's swirling and becoming more well known, right? And yet the actual remember how Crichton Waters referred to the storm that remember he referred to everything was building up to that one day for Alex Murdaugh.
I still have secondhand cringe from that PowerPoint.
Yeah, the PowerPoint.
You know, freaking hamster wheel.
Yeah, it was all about his house of cards was about to fall down, and it was all that kind of thing, right?
As a graphic designer, how would you rate that PowerPoint in closing? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember the PowerPoint.
Okay, yeah.
PowerPoint. Right. So it's kind of like that, right? So that hasn't even happened yet. So the Murdaugh name hasn't become like
it's not been sullied yet.
In terms of globally known, hasn't come out yet, right? So I don't know about the Stephen Smith case yet, but people in like this in the South Carolina world, I'm sure they're starting to know that this exists and it's tied to the Murdaugh name, of course, right? So you know, Hella, I see how, but not why. Right, okay. And hello, Emu Warrior. The PowerPoint was 10 out of 10. Yeah, it was 10 out of 10. And someone asked, is this a storybook? No, it's not a storybook. It's just like I'm a graphic designer, so this is how I communicate.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Canva, by the way.
Yeah, I make these in Canva, and I didn't used to like Canva because it took my job.
But now you use it.
You can't beat them, join them. Okay. So the rumors went on for years, and I'm referring briefly to them here in order to come to this point, right? So no evidence has ever been found to tie Buster or any Murdaugh to Stephen Smith's death. Ever. Right? Ever. Yep. Now, there's Mr. Eric Bland, and I do refer to him fairly often on my show on Sundays, Hearsay for Days. And there will be a bit of Hearsay for Days today, guys. Don't worry.
Yes.
I'm not going to disappoint. I know that this Sunday was Super Bowl and I missed Hearsay for Days, but there's been so much, as I said on Twitter earlier, shade, and I'm going to get to the lawsuit. Don't worry. Yeah, Mr. Eric Bland and his bobblehead, which started the whole bobblehead thing on my channel. And don't worry, I'm not going to keep going on with the bobbleheads forever. But Eric Bland, he started the bobblehead thing, and there he is. And he represents now Sandy Smith. And I'll get to that later. But there's reasons. Those of you who know the story know why. And we're going to get to it. So the rumors went on for years and there's no evidence. No evidence. Buster has spoken out on this. Yet this has been sensationalized for reasons I'll let you ponder as we move on to the next chapter, and it's coming. I'm not going to do a Buster bobblehead. Continuing. That same Moore testified against AM in his bond hearing. That is confusing because that Moore looks healthy and it's still on the job but claims disability. Did I miss one, Marie?
No, I think you did.
Yeah. Hang on, I must have missed another one. The reason that some law enforcement officers did not accept the motor vehicle accident diagnosis is that those officers are grossly incompetent and hold grudges against female pathologists. Okay. And then continuing, who's more? Sorry, I must have missed. Could you? I need to keep going with this, but Dali, would you mind going back through the comments?
Yeah. Thank
you. Awesome. Lovely. Okay. By the way, Mr. Dali here has full control of my StreamYard. So can you go through comments and star them for me? Star them for me.
That's a lot of pressure.
Thank you. Lovely.
I will.
All right. Now, back to the actual investigation. And as Marie, I'm not sure, was referring to, it wasn't that great. It wasn't that great, guys. back to the actual investigation. Rewind to December 18, 2015. So, persons of actual interest.
A
Yeah,
deer.
there were maybe some suspects at some point, like real ones, right? Other than the Murdaughs, which was like kind of just like a big rumor fest, gossip fest. A dude called Daryl. Daryl?
Brooks?
No.
Grounds?
Grounds.
Can I see subject matter jurisdiction, please?
A dude called Daryl went to the local LE, law enforcement, and said his stepson, named Patrick Wilson, admitted that he and his friend Sean Connolly had been driving drunk that night and had hit something he thought might have been a deer. Oh dear.
Oh dear. A deer.
Right? Oh dear. Okay. Right. So there's Daryl, there's Patrick, there's Sean, and there's supposedly a deer. Right? So remember this. That was. There we go. Now, Ellie, they did a fabulous job, and not Patrick, Sean, or the deer were ever recorded to have been contacted. And the case went cold. Right? But remember the date of those POI names, the persons of interest. December 18, 2015. Right? So that was how many months? It was July when the body was found. So July, August, September, October, November, December. 5 months. Right? So 5 months after the body was found, those persons of interest names were put forward to local law enforcement and the deer. And case went cold. Cool. Right. No, deer are notoriously hard to disappear.
It's true. Mo's still trying for the deer that broke her ankle.
Yeah.
And gave her CRPS.
Okay, then 2016. Sandy Smith, who I'm sure is a lovely lady, she's losing patience. Right? And fair enough. She goes to the FBI. They unlock Stephen's phone. Cool. All right. Maybe that's going to get somewhere. They said they found something on there that could be of interest, but then nothing happened. Nothing happened. Okay. How dare they assume it's gender? What if it's a doe?
A doe, a female doe.
It was me, really, that, well, I think Daryl said it was a deer, but I just went and chose one with antlers. So I don't know. I think we have deers here, but they're kind of rare. And Marie, I'd really like to talk to you, Marie. Maybe if you want to hit me up on Twitter or something, or email me. There's lots of contact details. Sorry, if you wouldn't mind putting my contact details into chat for Marie, because I know it's really hard to fit things into the chats. Maybe we could talk. Cool. Okay, let's keep going. Time passes. Time passes.
And do you see time is actually passing, which is why she says time passes.
Yeah. Right. Fast forward to June 2021. Right. So 2016, 2021. Now, can anyone remember what happened in June 2021, guys?
I think I got laid last.
Hey.
Kidding.
I believe you anyway.
Oh, good, because I made that up.
Yeah. I don't believe you anyway, man.
No, it was 2019. I've been in a dry spell.
Hey, half Irish, how are you? Oh, dear. Dear. Okay. Right. So fast forward to June 2021. Lots of stuff happened in 2021. Hey, John. None of that now. No. Keep it in your pants, John. Oh, dear. Oh, no. Okay. Hey, Brandon, how's it going? All right. So in June 2021, this happens. We all know about this thing that happened. So June 7, 2021, sadly, Maggie and Paul were found dead in the kennels, in the kennels there at the Murdaugh residence on Moselle. Also, later in June 2021, June 22 actually, SLED, good old SLED, opens an investigation into the death of Stephen Smith. What a coinky-dink. Isn't that interesting? Oh, hello, George. I'm actually getting a message from the ex. That's really cool. That's really cool. Hi. And nothing to do with this case, George. It was something completely separate.
Oh,
that
no,
we'll
yeah.
giggle about. Something completely separate. A chat about something else. So nothing about this. And welcome, George. Welcome to the chat. I am really impressed that I can see a comment coming through or a chat coming through from X. Very cool. Very cool. StreamYard is doing its job.
For once.
Welcome. Okay, so yes, June 7 was Maggie and Paul's bodies were found. That was very, very sad. And then also, yes, June 22, 2021 was when SLED opened an investigation into the death of Stephen Smith. So very unusual. Or apparently there was something found on the property there at Moselle, which was of interest to the case. And of course, that meant that the rumour mill straight back up again. Big time. Came back up again. Now, the SLED investigation the SLED investigation is said to be based upon information gathered during the course of the double murder investigation of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh. Now, this is where things get really curious, because the Stephen Smith case must have been big news now with its attachment to the Murdaugh name, even by rumour only. Because remember, it has been attached all this time because the rumours started only like 10, 12 days after the deceased was found on that road back there in 2015. Now, the Murdaugh name is now huge news again. And I mean huge news, because the wife of Alec and the son of Alec have been found in a really bad way on the property at Moselle. So the Stephen Smith case, being that huge news, newscasters, bloggers, and the like were busy producing Murdaugh-related content. It wasn't too long before Stephen became the focus of a particular filmmaker's focus. And I'm sure he was the focus of a lot of people's content. But there's just one I want to draw your attention to right now. And the reason being is because people are talking about this now, right? I'm not going to just bring it up out of the blue because I found it. Other people are bringing it up now. And I'm going to show you later when I bring up some Twitters and things why. Okay, so this. Remember those people of interest reported to law enforcement back in 2015 by Daryl. So Patrick and Sean. And there was a deer, but also Patrick and Sean. Remember them?
Yeah.
Dali. Yeah. Yes. You're the only person who gets
yes.
right. Everyone else is like, okay. Yep. So Patrick and Sean. It seems their names and likenesses appeared in a film made by someone called Eric Allen. So Eric Allen, there he is there, right? He's a filmmaker. He's more recently been employed by a media company called Luna Shark. Now, I don't know if that's exclusively. He probably isn't. He's a filmmaker in his own right. But he does have a working relationship with this media company, Luna Shark. This will be more relevant later, but I want you to look at when this was published. It was published 2 years ago. It had 508. Oh, he has 508,000. No, that particular one had 508,000 views, right? And those persons of interest there's photos of them, right? Now, this one here in particular is in question, this one called Patrick, all right? So we're going to come back to that later. 2 years ago. March 2023. I remember this bit of footage.
Alex. Officer is next. Your son is next, Alex.
Yes, Becca, I know. Remember that? Right from the beginning. Okay. Now, later in March 2023, this happened. Right? Now, our friend EB, Eric Bland, he works for this law firm called Bland Richter. And later in March 2023, after Mr. Murdaugh was convicted, they put out a press release stating Bland Richter law firm to represent Sandy Smith in Stephen Smith death investigation. So, you know how Mr. Bland likes to be super EB, and he likes to be the justice warrior and
Absolutely.
work pro bono for anybody. Yes, Bland press release. Yes, it is.
It is kind of bland.
Yeah. Go, Mr. Eric Bland. He likes to represent anyone and anything that is opposed to anything Murdaugh, basically. Okay. And some people think that this is wonderful of him, right? Some people think that perhaps he's doing it for his own agenda, right? And everyone has an agenda in life. Like, everyone wants to further their own self-interest in some way. I would say maybe I'm doing this in order to increase the views on my YouTube channel. I am.
Yeah.
I am.
And I'm doing this with Hella because I want to sleep with her. No, I'm kidding.
You're not.
No, I know.
I am doing this because I would like some more views on my YouTube channel. However, I choose what content I want to put forward.
Yeah.
And I really...
She actually has really high standards.
To put quality content onto my YouTube channel. And I always only put things onto my YouTube channel that I believe in. And
she really does, actually.
I really do. And I believe that actually questions need to be asked about this situation right here. And so I put a fair bit of work into finding this information and just putting these things out there so people can ask questions. Right. So now, Daniel T. I love the sound of my own voice, EP. Okay, so Dali, would you like to read the press release by EB?
Bland Richter, LLP founders Eric Bland, Ronnie Richter, and Mother Bear. Sandy Smith will be hosting a virtual press conference Monday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time regarding the Stephen Smith death investigation. Bland Richter, a leading law firm in South Carolina, announced today that it will represent Sandy Smith in the investigation into the death of her son, Stephen Smith. The announcement comes after Smith's family raised funds to exhume his body and perform an independent autopsy to determine the cause of his death. Stephen Smith was found dead on a South Carolina road in 2015, and questions were raised about his death during the investigation into the murder of Maggie and Papa Murdaugh in 2021. State police reopened Smith's case in June 2021 after discovering new evidence during the double investigation.
Very good. Lovely. And Miss Potash.
Year of our Lord, goddamn. I need to start saying Year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord. Okay, sorry. Miss Potter, I'm so glad you're covering this. I felt very isolated in my cynicism about the entire case against Murdaugh. No, don't feel alone. Do not feel alone. Please subscribe. And I'm actually not saying that for self-serving reasons here now. If you subscribe, you will be linked to a bunch of other channels. And I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm part of a group called Making Law Simple Network. Making Law Simple Network is David Helm. He's a lawyer out of Michigan. He's part of a group of lawyers who also create content. And these lawyers are fantastic law commentators. They all believe there's no evidence against Alex Murdaugh, that he did not get a proper trial. And whilst he is a scum of the earth.
Oh, yeah. Nobody's defending him for his financial
No one's defending him for his other actions. That trial was a farce.
Yeah. I'm just hoping we get to the murder trial someday.
Yeah, hopefully one day there will actually be a murder trial. And we can actually have a proper murder trial where there's none of these stupid financial crimes are brought in. Yeah. We can really,
or a very, very, very broad, or very narrow scope.
Yeah. So no, don't feel alone. Don't feel alone. There are plenty of people, learned people, who agree that this has been just ridiculous. Right. So, and I have no problem expressing that. But that's not what the particular stream is about. But there is so much sort of agenda going on between the characters in this, and I'll say characters because it is a drama. It's turned into just this giant drama that's playing out before our eyes. And I feel like the people like Sandy Smith who are involved in it are kind of like pawns. I feel for her. Like, I feel like she's sitting there trying to actually get somewhere with the case of her son. And I don't feel like that she's been well treated by anybody involved. Yeah. Like, people keep trying to say, oh, they're trying to help her, but nah, it's all just about storyline going. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
No, David is retired. That era is gone by.
David's retired. That era is gone by. Let's go. He's not retired. No.
Thank you for your super chat.
No, he's not retired. He's not retired. But yeah, there's plenty of people that, and Stray, would you mind putting some links in chat also to David, to Nick Starrow, to Sean from Potentially Criminal, any of the other law tubers who Miss Potash could have a look at as well. That'd be fantastic.
Or talk. Excuse me.
Fantastic. All right, let's keep going. All right. So March 30. So this is really pretty quick, right? Stephen's body was exhumed and a new autopsy was performed. And it was performed by Dr. Michelle Dupre. She was hired by attorneys Bland and Richter. This happened fast, right? So Alex Murdaugh was convicted, beginning of March. Eric Bland and co. jumped onto the case with Sandy Smith straight away, and then suddenly there was an exhumation happening and a new autopsy, right? Then after that, And I believe the results of that autopsy weren't even publicly released, right? For reasons. I'm going to try and get somebody on my channel to talk about this, actually, because this is only part one, guys. This is part one. Then they hired crime scene expert Dr. Kenny Kinsey. Remember him from the Murdaugh trial? Star witness, right? For the prosecution. A prosecution witness in the Murdaugh trial to conduct another investigation. And SLED has not been forthcoming with any new leads. Nothing's happened, people. Nothing's happened. Oops, forward. Meanwhile, the trial of the century had brought attention to this small part of the world on a scale not seen before, right? How do I even know about this? How do people know about this? Why is this such, like, and again, I'm not putting down the importance of this case. It's a big deal, right? But there are lots of murder cases. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands of murder cases. Why are there all these documentaries, these things about Stephen Smith? His mother's done a fantastic job trying to dig. I give her that, right? So she's really done a great job. However, it's because there are people who have interest in tying the Murdaugh name to this case and making money. Sorry. That's it. Okay. Not just making money, but also vendetta, I think, as well. Now, I'm going to draw your attention to another news outfit, this time first in the South. That's what it sounds
like. This guy had sex with Nikki Haley. You go. Will, folks.
Yeah. Okay. So, so first, FITS stands for First in the South, Fitz News, right? Okay. So, and its founder is Will Folks, that guy there. He's a very well-known figure in local broadcasting who has been criticized for expressing opinion rather than reporting the news, supposedly, right? Especially lately. Right. So in the last few months, he has been just lambasted. I like that word, by people who are very, very anti-Murdaugh in such a way that, like, kind of like Miss Pottage was saying, who are so, it doesn't matter whether Murdaugh he shouldn't get a retrial. There's no way he should get a retrial. He's going to be in prison for the rest of his life anyway. He's so guilty. Why will you talking about whether or not Becky did this or Becky did that? Forget it. Drop it. Why have you changed teams, kind of thing, right? So there's all this stuff about Will and him sort of posting clickbait, and he can, okay, Will can be a bit of a stirrer. I get it, right? But the thing is that I think that Will's just put a lot of people's noses out of joint, especially in the last few months. And okay, so they're saying that he doesn't report the news so much as he does opinion. From what I've seen of American broadcasters, they all, almost all of them, just report very biased, in a very biased way. That's from over here, it looks that way. Sorry, I'm an Australian. I'm going to call it as I see it. Over here, from here, it looks like it's really, really hard in America to get any kind of unbiased news reporting. Very difficult. You tell me if I'm wrong. Sal.
No.
Am I right or am I wrong?
No, I think you're right.
Okay, thank you. Sometimes he just tunes out and I go, am I
right? No, I was trying to engage the chat.
Right.
Yeah, I was trying to, stimulate them as well.
Okay, interrupting. Not even Will Folks of Fit News pretended we're talking about this. Okay.
Oh, Murray,
Thank you,
please
Half
come down.
Irish. Thank you. Yes, just pull up the chat. You're not clickbait. I like the way I look. Thank you very much. Yes. Clickbait. He's getting called clickbait. All right, so I wanted to bring your attention to Fitz News for a reason. Because earlier I brought your attention to another broadcaster. Yeah. He's not really a broadcaster. He was a filmmaker.
I'll be right back.
Right, so folks, Fitz News are being sued by a person called Austin Stanley for publishing this photo here, right? And the reason I put an X over it is because it's not as blurred as the previous one that I showed you, but it's the same photo, right? Now, Fitz News are being sued by a person called Austin Stanley for publishing this photo on April 1st, 2023. Note this date, April 1st, 2023. No, read what I wrote. If I can take the time to spell, you can read it. Just pull up what chat? Let's go. I'm not Oh, God. Brandon, I'm not reading that out. Okay. Hello, Benjamin Gray. When a small number of corporations own independent local channels and you find the same exact wording of specific issues in different regions of the US, yes, it's very hard to get unbiased reports. I gave up trying to find unbiased reports of US things, and I started looking to like international reports of US issues and found that to be actually a bit refreshing. Brandon. Okay, so folks, Fitz News put that out there April 1st, 2023. Now, note this. So this is where things get really a bit hairy. So Austin Stanley's photo was mistakenly taken from someone else's Facebook page in an attempt to identify one of these guys. Remember those guys? That was back in 2021. Remember? Right? So Patrick and Sean. Remember Patrick and Sean? And there was a deer, but the deer long past, right? So Patrick and Sean. Now, supposedly, according to this guy, Eric Allen, and look at the amount of views he's got there, 508K views. And 2 years ago, that video was published, right? And you can see Patrick is highlighted, right? Now, this is a wonderful investigator. It's a Twitter person, someone on the Twitters. I'm not going to name this person because I don't have permission to, and I like to keep people's, even their Twitter handle, private. You can get on Twitter and you can find this if you want to, until they've told me that it's cool to put them up there, unless they're like a reporter or a public figure. So generally I keep that redacted. But if you want to be in chat and tell me that I can just tell you your name, that's cool. But this is cool. They've gone and they've highlighted the amount of views and that it's this person here, and that's not the Patrick, right? And that's blurred out. Here, it wasn't as blurred out, so I put an X over it. So that was 2 years ago, right? So Eric Allen posted it 2 years ago, and then there was this one by Fitz News. Now, this is how it's going down, and you can't make this stuff up. Hey! Crime and Cask! How's it going, man? Good to see ya. So good to see ya. Lovely to see you. I'm really hoping that Crime and Cask is going to be able to join one of these streams in the very near future. Lovely to have you here. If you would like to pop the name of your book, please, into the chat, that would be fantastic. Please. I don't know if I quoted it correctly earlier. I can never remember the entire name. Yeah. Fantastic. Lovely to have you here, Crime and Cask. Yes, fantastic. I used a little bit of your road video earlier, just a little tiny bit. But yeah, you're going to come up in just a sec, Crime and Cask. Okie dokie. All right, so this is how it's going down. Dali, come back. Okay, so Eric Bland is there. And now we're into our hearsay for days section. Guys, I promised you, and it's here. All right. So at least we can see you next Tuesday. It is Tuesday here. No, it's Wednesday here. It's Valentine's Day here. Dali, you're not here for Valentine's Day. All right. So Eric Bland came along on, it was about 4 days ago. And he got on Twitter, and he loves to do these long soliloquies. And he's written bah humbug. He'll be here in a second, Becca. Don't worry. Okay, and he's come, and you're here just in time.
Yeah.
All right, and I've got my bobblehead out. The bobblehead's here.
Yay.
For Aussies, great to have Crime and Goonbag Media with us. Yeah, Crime and Cask, if you didn't know, a goonbag is one of those bladders of the wine, boxed wine goonbag.
Okay.
All right. What did Eric have to say about this lawsuit that was being served to Mr. Fitz News by Mr. Mark Tinsley, by the way, he's an old colleague of Alec, isn't he? Wasn't he with PMP?
I know he slept with, or is alleged to have slept with, MM.
Oh, all the people who are alleged to have slept with whoever.
Freaking South Carolina. Everyone has slept with everyone in that state. Seriously.
Crime and Cask is here.
Murdaugh.
South Carolina, leave him alone.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, buddy. Sorry, don't mean to insult you.
Anyway, can you read? Can you please read?
Wow. Zero Dark Tinsley has filed a defamation and negligence lawsuit against Unfitz News and Will Fox on behalf of his client, Austin Stanley, in Hampton County today. How poetic is this? Will Fox spends much of his ink every day attacking or mocking others. Maybe he needs to get his business house in order. This lawsuit probably would not have happened if and Les Farrell were not run off by well folks. Looks pretty serial to me, but we shall see how it proceeds. I have attached a filled copy of the caption of the complaint. I have no knowledge of whether the allegations are true or false, but if the allegations which are contained in the complaint are true about a man being falsely named as a suspect in the murder of my client, Stephen Smith, and if I were Mr. Stanley, I would be livid. Ebb at Moses wanders the desert for 40 years. At Les Farrell. That's the bottom line.
Oh, hang on. You didn't do EB?
No, I did Ebb.
No, EB.
I would be livid. Erectile dysfunction. Oh, no, that's a B. Never mind. EB.
EB.
God, I wish it was ED.
No, it's EB.
I know, but if his last name was started with a D, it would be so funny.
Right. Okay. And let's go. What's this? I have slept with an Australian female before. Really? Really? You came out alive? Good.
Really?
Really?
They're kind of like Black Widows, I've heard.
Enough. of this, continuing, what's this? AM cheated the insurance companies using the name of Satterfield and other people. That does not mean the Satterfields are entitled to any of the loot. Don't know. Okay. Hello, George, again. Yes, this is so cool that the X comments are working. I still would love you to jump over to YouTube, though. It really, really helps. It really, really helps. And they're built different down under. Yes, it does. And also, there's someone else here from X. Who else is it? Oh, I saw someone. Oh, Angie. Angie, not me. I think that's not everyone slept with everyone comment. Not you.
Oh.
Good for you, Angie.
Good.
It's lovely to have people from South Carolina here and correct us if we're wrong, because this is the thing. Like, all this stuff, it seems to be all like swirling around this community, and it's being exposed to the world. You guys realize this stuff's all being exposed to like the world, all your dirty underwear, laundry. Like, it's all like, we're all watching, because we all started watching around when the trial happened, and then we can't like take our eyes off it because these guys just keep making it all public. They can't. It just doesn't stop. Yeah. Okay. I don't know how you comment on X. I've actually tried, and I was like, where do you comment? And I can't even see where people are commenting outside of here. This is the first time I've even seen people comment on here. UB never met a camera he didn't like, and nor a mirror either. Crime and Cask. I'm from a small town too, just the upstate. Fair enough. Okay, sweet. I keep going. Now, the reason I put EB's comment up there is because Tinsley did a comment and it made very little sense. I'll show you. Oh, hang on. First, we'll have a look at the actual the complaint. So, jury trial demanded summons to the defendant above named. So the defendant being Fitz News, William R. Folks, you are hereby summoned and required to answer the complaint in this action, a copy of which is herewith served upon you, and to serve a copy of your answer to the complaint upon the undersigned to the office 2711 Middleborough Drive, Suite 106, Columbia, SC, blah, 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 within 30 days after service, exclusive the day of such service, and if you fail to answer the complaint within 30 days, judgment by default will be rendered against you for the relief demanded in the complaint. So it's on behalf of Austin Stanley, the plaintiff. So plaintiff is Austin Stanley, who I'm sure none of us have really ever heard of until now, but now we do, which is odd. So anyway, moving on. Yeah. Oops. So there's Mark Tinsley's tweet, and it was kind of funny that it was so like cryptic that people actually thought that it was about something else. So that's why I put EB's one first, because it made like it was really obvious what it was all about. But there's Mark Tinsley. Would you like to read Mark Tinsley's?
How much would you charge to have... No, I should do a Valley Girl.
Valley Girl.
Like, how much would you charge to have your photo falsely and maliciously, like, published in such a grody way that, like, people believe you were involved in, like, this brutal murder and hate crime? Ugh, gag me with a spoon. This photo is inextricably grossly linked and, like, totally permanently linked to a crime you did not, like, totally not commit. But now people now just think you did. Grody. 25 per grody view, 100 per grody view, 1,000 like per grody view. Oh my God, gag me with a spoon. Does it matter if the people who run ever financial like gain that they knew like you weren't even connected to the crime? Grody, when they published like your photo.
And then we have a redacted commenter that says not only do you have to consider the financial aspect of it, but you also have to consider the emotional damage that occurred. They need big consequences to prevent it from happening in the future. Now, he was...
Can I just say, I just pet Babu.
Okay, Babu's the cat, by the way.
Yes. I
Yeah.
pet his stomach. He objected.
Oh, right. He objected big time.
He
That's
doesn't
no
like
good.
my... Yeah. But now he's back and wants me to scratch his stomach again.
If you dare.
It's an abusive relationship we have.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then, because, so Mark Tinsley's tweet was so obscure that people came along and went, is Buster finally suing for defamation? And what's so hilarious about that is, as if Buster would hire Mark Tinsley. Like, he's completely on the wrong side. Like, he's a witness for the prosecution. Like, no, I don't think so. Did Buster hire you? And then there's this other dude who goes around, and I don't know who he is, but he just makes like the silliest memes. And he's gone and made, hi Mark, good questions and all. And then he's gone unfits news, biased, rednecked, opinionated, lazy. And then there's Willie, and he's got an egg, and he's gone and put some glasses on an egg.
Oh, this is excellent.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. So moving on. Right. Next thing that happens. Then the lovely tweeter who I mentioned earlier and who I got this screenshot from. And by the way, if you would like to come into chat, if you would like to message me and let me know it's okay for me to put your avatar up there in my next Hearsay for Days, for example, like I do with some other people, like the lovely Rosie Posey, like the lovely Nuff of That, lovely Ben Smith, and Crime and Cask, who I'm going to be putting up here in a moment. People who just don't mind having their tweets up there because of the fact that they do excellent, awesome work. And I stand by every word that they say, and I'm sure you do too, lovely tweeter out there. I only put people up there generally, like I said, who are reporters, public figures. Everyone knows who they are anyway. But other than that, if you're just like a regular person, I know that your words are out there anyway. Anyone can search them, but I just think it's respectful to not put your Twitter handle up there. But this person went and put this thing up there underneath. I'm just going to read out this one before I read Fitz News one. Looks like Fitz News was not the only media source to make this faux pas, Mark Tinsley, and she has put this here. I assume it's a she, I don't know. Did Alex Murdaugh really commit the crime? There's Eric Allen's 2 years ago, 508,000 views, November 21, 2024. And Mr. Will Folk has quoted that tweet and said, that's the Lunar Shark videographer, right? Oh well, props to him for acknowledging it. He admitted his mistake too. Right? And then also, there's a little note down here, and it says the photo of Patrick Wilson, and it's cut off, but it says a photo of Patrick Wilson at timestamp is not actually him. So that was added later, guys. Right? That wasn't there for 2 years. That was added later. We don't know when. We don't know when. So it begs the question, this man here, Eric Allen, if he works for Lunar Shark, and Lunar Shark is run by Mandy Matney, Liz Farrell, and they obviously run a podcast with Eric Bland. Yes?
Yeah.
Eric Bland has obviously good friends with Mark Tinsley.
Yep.
The question is the question I'm going to ask right now is,
where do babies come from?
No. The question I'm going to ask right now is, how did Mr. Eric Allen know, and when did Mr. Eric Allen know that?
There's got to be a way to find out when he changed it.
When he changed it. And then he deleted it, by the way. Well, hid that video.
Yeah.
The video has been hidden, right? So, and Fitz News has pointed this out. He's gone, that's a little sharp videographer, right? Oh, well, props to him for acknowledging it. He admitted his mistake too. So he's pointing it out there. Then Mark Tinsley's come along, and he's being all very sort of, oh, I don't know anything about this, and going, oh, can you send me the link to this so I can find it? Thank you. Oh, I don't know what's going on, everyone.
Oh.
Right? Oh, really? Oh.
Awkward.
Yes. Oh, okay, yes.
Can you send me the link to this so that I can totally find it? Thank you.
Yes. And that's fair, crime and Cask. He might not be an employee; he's a contractor, and then that's fine.
It's
and
a subtle
cool.
distinction, I think. From what I understand, it is a distinction. It's
a distinction, and I have heard another commentator say that it's disrespectful to call him a employee because he is a filmmaker. He has his own successful channel, and that's completely fine. Right? It's completely fine. I get that. And cool. Doesn't mean that there's no contact there whatsoever. It doesn't mean that there's no chitty chat going on at all. So I think that's more the point. Eric Allen is buddies with Tinsley. Yeah, that's more the point. That's more the point. Okay, so Mark Tinsley says that. Can you send me the link to this so I can find it? Thank you. And someone else has come along and gone, whispers, I think he has a working relationship with the moon sharks. That's Luna Shark. Regular voice. I enjoy Eric Allen's YouTube videos on the murders, allegedly. And then someone else has come along and gone, it's not even noon. So this is all going down. What day? February 8th. February 8th. See, this is why I couldn't keep this Hearsay for Day stuff till Sunday, right? Because more is going to happen. More is going to happen, everyone. More stuff's going to fly before Sunday. I usually do all this stuff on Sundays. But if I try, oh, hello. Yes, no, we're not still streaming. This is AI. Andrew.
I know.
It's AI. It's not real. Right? And does that mean you want to come on? You can if you want. You know you're always welcome. Hang on. I'll send you a link, my friend. Okay. So, yes. Just a second while I send a link to my lovely friend. Okay, back to where I was. Yeah, okay. So I get it. I get it that people talk, things happen. It doesn't matter whether or not it probably matters to Mr. Eric Allen whether he's called an employee or anything like that, but that's not really relevant to whether or not they had a chitty chat about this. And I'm going to just go on with this. So now Ben Smith, my old mate Ben Smith, he is very well known for being able to just go through and find a lot of information out off his own bat, and he has gone and posted this also on February 8th. I don't know if it was before noon or not, but he's going to say, well, there used to be one additional video here. It's now been made hidden. Over in Australia, it looks like there's 3 videos hidden. Just letting you know that. And sometimes it can be a regional thing, but to me, it looks like it says when I look at the playlist, it says there's 3 videos hidden. And I don't know when 3 videos were hidden, but 1 video is hidden as far as Ben Smith is concerned. Now, this is the playlist of Eric Allen's, and it says 1 unavailable video is hidden. And so Ben Smith has posted that. When was it hidden is the question, right? So, and does it matter is the other thing, like, because Fitz News is being sued for posting a video, a story with this erroneous photo of the wrong person found on some Facebook page, right? That is of a person of interest, Paul Patrick. And actually, the photo supposedly is of the plaintiff, represented by Mark Tinsley. So Fitz News is the one being sued. So what people are asking questions about is, if that's the case, why is this other filmmaker, Eric Allen, not being sued? He posted this exact same photo 2 years earlier in a video that was up for 2 years. 2 years, and it got several times the amount of views. This video got something like 500,000 views. 500 hang on. It got how many views? Let's go back. It got 508,000 views, whereas Will's got 151,000. Right. So that's a long time for that to be up. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. Long day, but my computer told me you were streaming, so I thought I would do a drive-by.
That's so
There you go.
nice. Do a drive-by. Cool. Have you been keeping up with this?
No idea what you're talking about. No.
All right.
Very
Well, okay. Well, basically, just a very, very quick one. We're talking about the fact that Fitz News in South Carolina is being sued by a person who was had their photo mistakenly taken off Facebook and put onto a news piece by Mr. Will Folks, and put as a person of interest in the Stephen Smith case.
Okay, I do know a little bit about this. So this is and apparently the person was never actually a person of interest in the eyes of the police. But I heard the newspaper apologized and reasonably promptly took it, but then they ran it a second time. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, there is that. But what the questions we're asking is, there was a filmmaker actually who used the photo first, and this was 2 years earlier, and it's been up in a film online for 2 years. We're trying to work out when exactly it was taken down, because we think it might have been fairly recent, but we can't tell. But people are asking questions about that because the filmmaker involved actually has a working relationship with some people that know the lawyer, Mark Tinsley, who is representing the plaintiff. So there's just some issues there.
And Stephen Smith is the kid who was killed?
Yes.
Or the guy who was killed?
A classmate, yes, of Buster. And that's why his name has been intertwined with the Murdaugh name.
And the killed person's family are the plaintiffs here.
No, the plaintiff is actually the man who had his photo taken off Facebook.
So I'm sorry, Mark Kingsley. Who's he representing?
The man whose photo was taken off Facebook.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
but he has a connection to the family of the person who was killed. Got it. All right.
No,
well, there's lots of reasons they may not be suing them. I mean, I don't know, of course. I haven't followed it closely enough, but There could be statute of limitations problems. There could be problems that the filmmaker is not perceived as having sufficiently deep pockets to go after, and maybe the newspaper does. I mean, there's no point suing someone getting a judgment and then they don't have any money, right? You can't squeeze blood out of a stone. Yeah. There could have been an off the records deal with the filmmaker where he said, listen, if I just take the film down, will you let it go? And they said yes, and now they're bound by that. Or there could have been an exchange of money that we don't know about. So it didn't require a lawsuit. Sure.
Well, actually, this next comment here asks the question. So someone else has come along and gone, I would really want to know how the law deals with this situation. Two people made the same mistake, but the victim only sues one person and not the other. If it caused the victim so much harm, how can a court decide if the harm was caused by one post and not the other? Pretty much what you said. Or is it?
I was going to say that the courts are dealing with each individual individually, separately. Right? Now, each accused individually, in their defense, would be permitted to point to the other person and say that's the person who caused all the damage. So that would be part of their legal defense, right? Whatever harm I may have caused is an infinitesimal part compared to what that other person caused.
Yeah.
And that would go to damages, really. Not that they didn't do anything wrong, but to what extent should they be held liable for the damage that was done?
Yeah.
But there's no requirement that a plaintiff sue it. I mean, normally, as a plaintiff, you sue everybody. Everybody. Yeah. You just get the phone book out. You put everybody on there. Because there's normally, when a judgment is awarded against multiple defendants, there's joint responsibility. So you can go just after the deepest pocket for all of it. But all the other people are also on the hook for all of it. Everyone's on the hook for all of it. So if you're the plaintiff, you want the maximum chance of recovery for your damages. And so you list everybody. And it's quite common for people to be dismissed from a civil suit because you reach too far. But that's up to the court to do and for the parties to do. If you're the plaintiff, you put everybody on there.
Crime and Craft says, in my opinion, Tinsley is suing Will Folks because Will is digging around and investigating a supposedly inappropriate professional relationship of one of his old reporters that allegedly involved Tinsley. Ooh.
That he recently started a podcast with.
Wow. Okay.
Who's he? The pronouns will confuse.
Eric Bland. There's a Miss Matney is very anti-Murdaugh, and she started a podcast, and then Eric Bland joined in with this podcast. And it's come out that years ago when she was working with Will Folks and Fitz News, it's alleged, I don't know if it's true, she was having a sexual relationship with Eric Bland.
It's kind of gross, but okay. Yeah, I would probably sue to cover that up.
Okay, you know how Alex spoke of a tangled web? The tangled web between these people is ridiculous. Like, you could write 10 novels on this. Absolutely.
It's got a very deliverance vibe to it, right? you need a banjo sound effect you can play.
It's crazy. It is so crazy. Thank you, Lesko, for the super chat. And there was a $5 one earlier. Maybe start with the tip. Yeah, look, I tried.
She tried with me.
Hey now.
I saw a great sweatshirt. Someone sent me the other day a picture of it. The sweatshirt had a picture of an AR-15 bullet on it, and it said, "Just a tip, I promise."
Just a tip. I know.
And I went to buy it, but they were out of my size.
Distant posted that, didn't we? Distant post that. It was funny.
Thank you so much, Brandon.
Thank you so much, Brandon, and thank you. Oh wow, checkmate. Thank you. You're a legend. And didn't I pick the right team for you? Didn't I pick the right team? You remember
the movie?
You got mad at me.
The Tom Hanks movie Big, where Tom Hanks is a little kid who turns into an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I always think of Eric Bland. Like he's a little kid who woke up one morning and suddenly he was a big attorney. But on the inside, he's still just a child.
Oh my God, I love Andrew. Andrew's great. Thank you for popping in, Andrew. You're so cool. Ah, dear me.
That would
Yes,
actually
thank
be
you.
a good movie.
That would be a good movie.
Like combination
EP.
of Big and
But it would be
Vinny,
so bland.
Yeah. Like My Cousin Vinny and Big come together.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Thank you. Oh, John, really? Okay.
Well, he is. His just wife isn't a looker, but
Okay. All right. So now, okay. You're right, George. Like it bothers me how much this man just continues to push his own agenda. And he's not the only one, but Mr. Bland appears to just be constantly wanting to talk about himself, basically. Everything is about what Eric Bland wants, not what is actually the point of the like Sandy Smith, for example. Sandy Smith is trying to find out what actually happened to her son. Do you think Eric Bland cares?
well, what
No.
about Eric Bland himself? He's important. We need to make sure
Sorry.
he's, the center
Sorry
of
about
attention
that.
here.
Yeah, of course.
No,
right, of course.
screw her, dead kid. Eric Bland is the priority.
Of course. All right. So moving on.
Yeah, that's right. Everything, it's very psychopathic behavior, right? The whole world,
Oh, yeah.
it's him, right? He's the star of
Yeah.
the movie syndrome. So everything revolves around Eric Bland. We're all just supporting characters in the universe of Eric Bland. That's profoundly
Very much so.
He broke up.
All right. Okay.
StreamYard
Now,
is
here we
a
go.
mess today.
Crime and Cast, it's
Jesus
so good
H.
to have
Christ.
you here.
Are you guys breaking up with each other, or is it just me? Are you guys
StreamYard
breaking up
is
for each
screwing
other
up today.
What's screwing
Yeah.
up, StreamYard or us?
Oh, they are. Okay.
Hella's
all right. I
been-
just want to make sure it's not
Hella
on my end.
Has been screwing up
Okay.
Oh, okay.
like
hang
every
on.
couple minutes.
Let me fix up my.
No,
I'll
it's
change-
not you. It's not you.
Oh,
It's
it's not?
StreamYard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so Crime and Cask, it's really awesome to have you here today in chat. And as I said, I can't wait to have you on the panel when you're feeling a bit better. And because Crime and Cask, by the way, this man knows so much about all of this situation, not just the Stephen Smith case, but about Alex Murdaugh. He has an excellent theory as to what happened that night. And he has written a fantastic book on this. So I would really looking forward to having you with us. But yeah, thank you for being in chat. Now, Crime and Cask, this tweet was brilliant, I thought. So Crime and Cask says, you mean this Eric Bland and this Eric Allen. So there's Eric on the left and there's Eric Allen, the filmmaker, on the right, the one who originally posted that photo from Facebook, the one that Will Folk is being sued over. The self-proclaimed guardians of justice. I thoroughly expect a verbal beatdown on Eric Allen from EB, just like the one he gave Will Folks for using the exact same picture, a picture Eric used a year and a half earlier than Fitz did. Hashtag waiting. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Love it, love it, love it. And Nuffy, where's Nuff of that? Is she here today? Haven't seen her today. She's usually here. She's a member of the channel. One of my favorite people, Nuff of that, goes and says, don't hold your breath. This would throw shade.
But it's almost a
on the
generational difference in these lawyers, right? Between like Poot, the old school lawyer, right? The older guy, just doing the law, practicing law, doing it the old school way. And these generation younger lawyers who've grown up with the internet and YouTube and clicks and likes and
Beaner.
maybe even make revenue off of stuff.
Yeah.
The never-ending stream of attention you get from the internet. Harpoolian has never experienced that in his life.
Yeah.
Harpootlian points a gun at the prosecutor.
And I think it warps the
Beaner-
human mind.
Yeah. Beaner points a gun at the jury.
Okay, so none of that goes, don't hold your breath. This would throw shade on the true gaslight crew of lunatics. Facts don't matter. Truth doesn't matter.
Lunatics.
Yeah. Oh, she's so funny. Only run over those who get in their way. Obviously, EB considers Fitz News a threat of sorts. In my opinion, Stephen Smith. I think she just means in my opinion.
In my opinion.
Stephen Smith, justice for Stephen Murdaugh. And then someone else comes along and goes, will never happen, ever. Don't hold your breath. Nice one, Kramer Cask. Nice one.
Wait, Eric Bland in that pic kind of looks like Lurch. Where, like, his head is really shrunken. Like, his head is really tiny in that picture.
It is a little small for his head. Maybe that's why he got bobbleheads made, because he's a little insecure about
like,
the size of his head compared to the rest of his body.
Like, he looks
so
like
he needed to compensate.
He looks like some African doctor shrunk his head.
Yeah. All right. Now, this is the last bit. So, Fitz News comes along and says, hardly anyone takes accountability anymore or admits to their mistakes. An honest mistake was made here, and we apologize and did our best to correct it. But we will have to live with the consequences. Thanks to the Mark Tinsley and the Eric Bland for holding us accountable. And this must be an Australian that came along next and said, yeah, no. Because we say that. We go, yeah, no. One time could maybe be considered an accident, but you all did it twice. Oh, no, it's an American. Twice? This is reckless and unacceptable. This young man has suffered because of your arrogance and need for clicks, and that is sickening. And then the next person said, the Eric Bland wasn't holding you accountable. He was using his platform to put you down and have his followers do the same. Most reputable lawyers who don't lack self-awareness wouldn't take to social media and do that. But he did, does, and will continue. Well said on your part. And then someone else comes along and goes, first there was Egg Lady. Now we got chickens coming home to roost. The end. Why is my gift?
No, I don't know anything about the Fitz News, the merits. But I can tell you that it's quite possible for it to be an innocent mistake twice.
All I know is the
different staffers, different people, new hires.
I totally think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I know is the head guy slept with Nikki Haley.
I mean, we have
allegedly.
Well, that sounds unfortunate. Why would anybody brag about that?
It's a thing.
Look, I 100% believe this was a mistake. And I think it was a mistake. I think that also there are big demands on these people's time and attention. And that people are constantly sending them emails and messages, and that they try and attend to things, and it's like, well, I'm sorry, I thought I did that and I didn't. And he's trying, and I think both Eric Allen and Will Folk probably tried their best to stop this, right?
Well, you'd have to show they didn't.
Well, I don't know if they did or not, but it's possible they could have done everything right, and it still happened. So I can tell you that I pay a lot of money to production companies to produce little clips of my content and shorts of my content and thumbnails of my content. And they do that a dozen times a day. And I'm not seeing all of that, but there's been more than once where I've seen a piece of content where I'm like, guys, you can't say that. That's not true. Because they're not lawyers and they don't know the substance of what we're talking about. So if listen, you got to change that thumbnail because that's not representative of the actual truth. And someone could come to me and say, hey, you hired these people. They're your agents and they told the falsehood. And I'd have to say, that's true. And as soon as I saw it, I tried to fix it. Well, they did it twice. Like they did it again 4 months later. I'm like, okay, they're dummies. Maybe I need to fire them.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have noticed your content has changed a lot, and I like it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that because I'm paying a lot of money for that content.
I figured.
The funniest thing about Will Folks is he was the media guy for the governor, Mark Sanford, who famously said he was hiking the How do you say that? Appalachian. Right. When he was off having an affair.
Is everyone in South Carolina screwing each other? Like, I know there's people
I know,
there.
so amazing.
I know there's people in our chat that are there, and they're good people. They're not whores. But it's like, Jesus Christ, everyone is just having an affair.
And by the way, as far as I know, Will Folks is completely politically and journalistically corrupt. I don't know anything about him. I'm just saying it's hypothetically possible there's an innocent explanation for this.
Yeah.
Or just an oversight, something like that. But I mean, he has come out and said that he did it and he's sorry, I think. Yeah. Or people are saying that's not an apology. That's not a proper apology as well. Like they're saying, and he said a mistake was made.
Well, what do you have to do? Wash their feet?
Yeah, I don't know. But look, whatever. I don't think that anything malicious was about it. And for defamation doesn't have to be malicious.
The plaintiff would have to prove the malice.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm asking. It doesn't have to be malicious, and right. I don't think it's malicious. So, I mean, how could it be malicious when you've accidentally taken something off someone's? Well, and I don't even think he took it off someone's Facebook, because I'm pretty sure it's come off he's gotten it from Eric Allen's. It looks like it.
That could be.
It's just kind of lazy, like just go.
I know one thing for sure: if you're coming from another part of America, don't retire here, because if you're not already inbred in this community, you're just cannibal food.
Well, and even Murdaugh, who was the leader, and they're just tearing him apart.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, yeah, it seems to me like there's he probably has a fair bit of a reason, ability to fight this suit. And yeah. I mean, it'd be fun to watch this go to trial, but I don't really hope that it goes to trial. No, I doubt it goes to trial. It was Sunny does. It was about the Stephen Smith case. If you go back, I went right through from the start of the Stephen Smith case, and I did a timeline of how it all began and how it was associated with the Murdaugh name and should not have been. And then I went into the persons of interest, and now we're talking about how there is a lawsuit against Will Folk from Fitz News, and that's to do with the person of interest and their photo being wrongly assigned to someone whose face was taken from Facebook, and it's just the wrong person. So that's how we got to this point here, Sunny does. So if you'd like to go back and have a look at that, you can see all of that content. It's all graphically laid out for you. So
I have to say, I think my forehead is looking exceptionally nice tonight. It's like the forehead of a 50-year-old.
It's lovely. It's lovely. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to, assuming that Steve Gosney is going, we are going to do a redirect over to him. So let me just check that he is actually live right now.
I could have done that, hon.
I think it's another. Oh, I don't know. I don't remember now.
He's supposed to be at 8 p.m. Can you just check?
Yeah, he should be live. Yeah, he is live. Yeah, how to self-publish your book.
Yeah, great, because I've already checked. I've already said that.
Like Becky Hill.
Yep, like Becky Hill.
Well, like law of self-defense. Maybe I should hop onto his channel.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah, okay. So this is just the start, guys. We will be doing more. Watch this space, right, for part 2, because this is going to go further. There is no question that this is going to go further, and we'll be covering it here. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Attorney Andrew F. Branca, for popping in. I love it when you pop onto this channel. Tomorrow, your time will be V-Day. I'm sure you'll be doing something lovely for the missus.
Oh, that was a deer.
I was thinking of something entirely different.
Oh, okay. No. You had a deer.
No, we do that other thing every day.
Oh, shut up. Oh, shut up. There will be a special Daddy Dom trial happening on Dali Talk tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
And then there's a big announcement happening for both of our channels, Dali Talk and Excited Utterance, 5:30 p.m. on Thursday. So make sure that you are subscribed to both of us and have all your notifications on for that. That's the end. And everyone, thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
See you in the comment section. See you over on Twitters. See you everywhere.
Thank you, Branca.
Stay
Love
safe,
you
everybody.
very much.
Stay safe.
Thank you. Stay safe, and all the wonderful things. Bye.